Hello, this is the lesson 2-5 for solving equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. Okay, so looking at these two equations that you see, okay, the first one is just like we did yesterday. And the second one is one that we're going to do today. Well, gosh, Mrs. Andrews, they look pretty much the same. Well, can you spot the difference? The difference is where the equal sign is. The difference is where the equal sign is. And not only that, but what that means about where variables are. So this problem, this first one, I'll abbreviate it, combine like terms. And this is exactly what we did yesterday. The second problem is what we're doing today, variables on both sides. And the reason I'm showing them to you on the same screen at the same time is because students often confuse these two types of problems. So I want to give you a fun way of looking at these problems to determine what strategy you're going to use to solve them. So I want you to think of a battle. And you have warriors on each side of the battle. And in old-fashioned warfare, not current warfare per se, but in old-fashioned warfare, the battle usually took place on a big open field, and one army would line up on one side of the field, and the other army would line up on the other side of the field, and they would run together and do battle in whatever way that happened, whether it was, you know, medieval times with swords and war hammers, or, you know, even 100 years ago when they were using guns and things. Okay, if we look at our variable terms, the line down through the equal sign represents the battle line. And if 4x and 2x, they're our warriors. 12 and 60, they're civilians. They're not involved in this battle, okay? 4x and 2x, they are on this, both on the left-hand side of the line. They are allies then. And if you're allies, you would combine your forces to be even stronger. 6x would be combining the like terms, and then our civilians plus 12 and equals and 60, they would just come down. And I can stop thinking about battles for this problem because I see that's a basic two-step, and I know how to solve basic two-step, and so do you. Okay, let's look at the other problem and look at how it's different. Our warriors, 2x and 6x, they are not allies now. They are on different sides of the line. They are enemies. And in a battle, the weaker enemy, usually, is the one that loses. So, 2x is my weaker enemy. And that's the one I'm going to look for first in all these problems. It's going to get taken out. Taken out. Okay, subtraction, taken out, taken away. However, the 4x warriors, you know, even the winning side of a battle loses some of its warriors. In fact, because of equality, they lose the same number of warriors. Then I'm going to subtract. 4x take away 2x is 2x. And the civilians just get brought down. And now, here again, I can stop thinking about battles because it's a basic two-step, and I don't need something to help me solve a basic two-step. Okay? Now, these are not the same equation, and I'm going to get different answers, but now they look more different because I have a 6x and a 2x. So if I continue to solve these, I will get different answers. I get x equals 8 for the combine like terms problem. And I get x equals 24 for the variables on both sides problem. Okay, so we're going to be focusing on the variables on both sides problem. All the rest of our sample problems are going to be like the ones we see on the right. But in terms of our review for the quiz and upcoming quiz on Friday, you really have to know both kinds of equations, and we'll be working on that tomorrow. Okay, variables on both sides. So look for that equal sign. That's going to help you to know whether it's a variables on both sides problem or not. And then I see that there's a variable term on each side. Okay, so my variable terms are my warriors, 2x and 7x. Sadly, 2x is the weaker, the smaller one, and it is going to get taken out. It is going to get canceling the smaller variable first. However, 7x has to lose some of its guys too, its soldiers. Okay, now, some of you are thinking, okay, I'm going to do 7x, take away 2x, and 5x. And that's the first maybe math that you're doing in your head, arithmetic. However, don't put 5x first. When you're showing work straight down, keep your order consistent. Okay? Nothing is going to go underneath the 2x and the minus 2x. That canceled. Nothing will go here. The plus 15 becomes a positive 15. And since it's positive, I don't need the plus sign. 7x take away 2x is 5x. I put the 5x underneath 7 minus 2x. Minus 50 comes down. Keep your order consistent with what's there. Don't switch it around and put 5x first just because you want to. It'll get your order of your terms and your equal sign messed up, and it'll get you the wrong answer. Some students don't like that this is 15 equals and then the rest of the problem. Well, when you take algebra next year, the majority of the time the problems are going to be set up this way. So you need to get used to having the number by itself and then the equal sign come first, because that's actually going to be pretty common next year. Add 50 to both sides. So the 50s cancel. So it's a two-step from here. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and x is 13. Okay, a couple more example problems. Okay. Equal sign, draw a line down through it. I would encourage you to use your highlighters too, if it helps you. Okay. 8x and 6x are my warriors. 6x, they're the weaker ones. They're going to get taken out. However, remember, because of equality, you have to take 6x out of 8x as well. So that leaves 2x. Bring down plus 14. The 6x's cancel, and the 24 comes down. I don't need the plus sign in front of the 24 anymore because it's just a positive 24 now, and we don't need it. Subtract 14, basic two-step, and divide by 2. Our next problem, if you really like this war analogy, is kind of fun to think about it in terms of war. Okay, here's our equal sign. Now I've got a 9x, but I've got a negative 3x. And if you're enjoying this whole warfare analogy, negative 3x is the smaller variable term. Okay, it would, you would think, be the enemy that gets taken out. But I can't do subtraction. I have to do the opposite. So if that's negative, I have to do plus. So if you want to, you can think of a negative variable term as spies. And if you have a spy, they go into enemy territory. So 3x went into enemy territory and they have a negative sign. They're spies. They're bringing information back to the 9x, and having more information makes the 9x warriors even more powerful, and they get bigger and become 12x. The minus 12 comes down, and the 36 comes down. Okay? So in math terms and not warrior terms, I'm still going to the smaller variable term and I'm canceling it through the opposite operation. So adding would be the opposite of a minus 3x. And I've got my two-step. And x equals 4. Okay? If you were doing a check, my original problem is 9 times x, so I'll do 9 times 4 minus 12. And on the other side, I've got negative 3, also times 4, plus 36. And I want to see, do they end up being equal to each other? So I can type 9 times 4, take away 12 on my calculator, or I can find 36 minus 12, and I get 24. Or negative 3 times 4 is 12, negative 12, plus 36 is 24. I can type that in. But they both come out equal, so I know that I did it correctly. I'm not too focused on the check, but that's how you check it if you want to. Here are the answers for the first 8 problems. Okay, I want to stress on your homework, if all you write for each problem is the answer for 1 through 8, and you don't do any of the work as I have just shown you how to do, you don't get credit for the assignment. There is no coming in and saying, oh, I did it on my calculator. No, you have to show what you did. You may have used a calculator to help you add, subtract, multiply, and divide, but ultimately you have to have shown how you solved it. These are not problems that you just type in and get an answer. Okay? So I need to see work, or you will not be getting any credit. And if you're not Mrs. Andrews' student, and you're Miss Rumsey's or Miss Wyrick's or Mr. Saunders' student, we all feel the same way. You will not get credit just for answers. So please make sure you are showing work. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.